Alright, welcome to Season 2, Race 15 of my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode. Sorry, I was just checking something here on my phone. So we're in Italy. Track we do very well at. The Italian GP. Just spent money on an upgrade to the downforce. So that should be coming in time for the Russian Grand Prix. And at this point I'm just kind of sort of circling around. Next upgrade will probably be an engine upgrade, and then I'll go back to the chassis for another upgrade. So I think that's what I'm going to try to do anyway. But yeah, so there's really not much to talk about. Still no notifications regarding the potential Vettel retirement, and weather for qualifying the race looks all good. So let's go straight into qualifying. Alright, let's get going. See how we do in qualifying. Get the braking for turn 1 just right. Very solid job of braking, and we are already pulling away from the competition. Magnussen currently P2. Of course, this track very much suits our car, particularly our engine. Let's get the best engine on the grid. Mercedes have gained a little bit, but we're still the best in the field. We run wide a little bit there, but still so far ahead that we're not losing much time. Get this will be our third pole of the season. We're getting a little tight to that corner. Max is getting closer. Could we potentially get our first front row lockout? I think we will. We definitely got pulled, and Max keeps second.
Good job, mate. Really well done. That was a fantastic drive.
Waiting for the results to come in.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. The owner-driver, Magnussen, and Charles Leclerc. Goodbye for now then, but we're really just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
Magnussen just barely holds on over Leclerc for our teams, for Jaguar Racing F1 teams, first ever front row lockout. That's pretty amazing. You got the two Ferraris right behind us, so I think it's going to be a fight between us and the Scuderia. in their backyard. So that should be interesting. Somewhat of a disappointment for Mercedes, particularly for Bottas. I mean, getting out qualified by a Renault, and it's not even Ricciardo. It's Ocon. I mean, no, Ocon's not bad, but yeah, Mercedes can get out qualified by that Renault car. Yeesh, it's not good for Bottas. Norris gets a good result. Stroll, Perez, right around the top 10. Red Bulls. Oh my God, look at those guys. Oh my God. Albon got out-qualified by an Alfa Romeo and an AlphaTauri. Dear Lord. Not go well for Red Bull. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's the thing where they just don't have the straight line speed, but damn, they are in a rough spot. You do not expect to see Verstappen down that far. But that's what it is right now, so
I think we can call that a successful qualifying. We should be in with a good chance in the race.
alright. Again, no rain. That's good. I think we're pretty much all set to go. The Italian Grand Prix. And if it comes off as me rushing this a little bit, I am a little bit, only because I got an Xfinity Series race, NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Daytona, starting a little after 7:30. So I want to make sure I get this done.
Welcome back to one of only 2 countries that has held a race every year since the very first Formula One World Championship in 1950. It is, of course, Italy, one of the great racing nations. And it's time to get underway for the Italian Grand Prix. We're 12 miles northeast of Milan for today's Grand Prix at a Monza circuit where we can expect top speeds of around 215 miles per hour. 11 corners on this 3.6-mile track, with 7 of those coming in the form of chicanes. And with a good slipstream and DRS open, there should be plenty of opportunity for some passing here today. Anthony Davidson joins me again for the race today. They've got a really good lead in the championship going into this weekend, so it feels to me that they've got one hand on the trophy.
Certainly there are worse positions to be in, but it's vital they don't let complacency creep in. As soon as you let yourself think it's over before it actually is, that's where everything
How are they talking about people putting one hand on the trophy already? I mean, come on.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. It's the owner-driver in pole position then, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Vettel, Hamilton, Esteban Ocon, and Bottas, Norris, Stroll, Ricciardo, and Carlos Sainz, Perez, Magnussen, Max Verstappen, and Kvyat, Giovinazzi, Albon, Pierre Gasly, and Roman Grosjean, De Vries, Latifi, Calderon, and George Russell ends our grid lineup. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
Well, unfortunately, our front row lockout was ruined by Magnussen having to take a grid penalty, which sucks. Obviously, not kind of sucks. It does suck. Should be just interesting to see how he comes through the field, considering that he has, I mean, his pace obviously showed that he has a lot of speed in that race car.
The team are expecting a lot after your podium last race. Concentrate on getting into the points and push on from there.
Let's see, race strategy. One stop's pretty basic here. Sending another text here. All right, let's get going. So now,
we're not seeing any technical issues coming off the practice start. Watch the RPM on the full start. We don't want to bog down.
With our rear gunner effectively lost, because I'm sure Magnussen would have been right on pace with us and probably would have put up a good fight with the Ferraris. Now we're all by our lonesome up front.
Radar is clear. Weather is looking good for now. Dries seem like the best tyre for now. Okay, here's who we're really fighting today. Leclerc and Vettel.
So we're going to have a real fight on our hands if we can't break the DRS barrier the first couple of laps. Of course, the Ferraris recently finally put in some upgrades and have obviously seen an uptick in performance. Leclerc won in Hungary. Leclerc might have had a shot at beating us again in Belgium, if not for that late race crash that he had with Valtteri Bottas as he was trying to pass us for the lead. Just a few laps to go. Bring the pack around the Parabolica.
Keep an eye on the lights. The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid has formed. Be ready with the clutch.
Alright, here we go. 5 red lights. Can we hold off the Ferraris once again like we did last year? 5 red lights are out, and away we go. Wow, we got a massive jump off the star. Look at that. Breaking hard for turn, the first chicane. Man, we are away. Look at that. We are out of here. Let's just go back and see how they got through that chicane. Actually, yeah, let's just go back and see how they got through that chicane. Ferrari side by side, Vettel and Leclerc. So Leclerc's going to get the better of him. Then behind, Bottas actually had a great start. He jumps Hamilton and Ocon. P4, Ocon P5, Hamilton P6. Stroll in P7, Norris P8, Ricciardo P9, Perez P10. While Magnussen actually loses a spot after the initial start of the race. We threw the Lesmos for the first time at speed.
Well done, mate. Nice start.
Heading towards Ascari. Just about 2 seconds. No, it's under 2 seconds. Just under, but right around that mark. I think we managed to get over 210 miles an hour going down that straight. Shows off how good we are at this track and how good our engine really is. Pit stop window has us coming in around lap 11, which I'm sure we will probably stick with, unless the tire wear on these softs ends up being a little better than I would expect. The only thing that will prevent us from completely running away with this race would be a safety car.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
The interesting thing to follow right now is whether Leclerc is going to be able to break the 1 second barrier to his teammate. He's definitely close. He's almost a full second. Not quite, but like I say, he's not quite there, but he's very close. let's actually
We've got a lot of spare energy. Use your overtake button.
Let's see, I think, let's see, has Vettel broken the barrier? He has. He's still within that range, so he's still hanging on to Leclerc, even though Leclerc is a little bit further down the road. We'll do a cheeky little save. Gap's now 4.2 seconds. Just over 4 seconds to Charles Leclerc. Yeah, the only thing that's going to prevent us from running away with this race at this point is a safety car.
Teammate by 10.4 seconds.
Actually, just noticed that Leclerc has appears to have broken the 1 second barrier to Sebastian Vettel. So we'll see if Leclerc is able to get some distance on his teammate. Vettel really is right there. He's flirting with being inside or being outside, so it's very close. Oh yeah, Leclerc has definitely broken the 1 second barrier, as now Valtteri Bottas is passing Sebastian Vettel for third. So it should be interesting to see if Bottas can potentially pose a challenge to Leclerc.
Fuel is looking really good. You're managing it well. Tyre condition is still looking good. We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the mediums. Our gap behind is 6.4 seconds.
Not doing much talking, because there's not really a ton to talk about, to be honest. Bottas has actually pulled away from Ocon, so now the top three, I say that, and something is going to miss. I just mentioned Valtteri Bottas. And it looks like Bottas has just dropped out of the Grand Prix. And there he is. Bottas with a massive engine failure. Pulls it up right after the first chicane. I'm trying to see where my teammate is. He's in P10 now. So he was able, because he was getting held up by the AlphaTauris and the Red Bulls, I think, but he got by them, so that's good. But yes, Valtteri Bottas is out of the Italian Grand Prix. Which is a real shame, because he was running in P3, and like I said in previous videos, at least some recent, Bottas seemed to be getting the fortune that Hamilton was having last year, because of course, my first year, Bottas had a lot of early wins, but also had a lot of DNFs. Whereas Hamilton really only had one DNF, and that one DNF sort of led to his downfall in the championship, but that was the general theme, is that Hamilton was having much better reliability than Bottas. This time around in Season 2, it's been, the general pattern is that Bottas has been the car with the better reliability, and not only that, but he's been, not only has Hamilton been having more DNFs, but Hamilton's generally been slower than Bottas. So, I could be wrong, but I believe...
Caution, gap to teammate behind is 14.7 seconds.
I could be wrong, but I believe this is Bottas' first DNF of the season. I definitely know he's had less than Hamilton, though. That I know for sure. But, Bottas dropping out of the race actually elevates Esteban Ocon into P3 and Ricciardo P5, so yeah, I find it very interesting, even with the update that we got a couple races ago, I think back in France, when we got the update that sort of updated the chart.
Battery charge is high. Let's use that overtake button more.
Or provided a more accurate reflection of the performance chart. The Renault boys really have been outperforming their car. When you look at where they are compared on the performance chart, and then you compare it to their actual on-track performance. I mean, it shows. I mean, they're running P3 and P5 right now. So good on them for having some strong runs.
Box. We're coming in this lap.
Really out-kicking the performance in their cars.
Okay, the gap behind is 7.4 seconds.
I had to check, so I'm pretty sure that Renault is at the bottom half of the teams in the field in terms of performance. But they've been just having great qualifying and getting good results in the races. So yeah, good on them for just doing real well. But we're hitting this lap.
Right, come in at the end of this lap.
Wait for the medium
Affirmative.
tire.
Medium tires at the next stop.
Far enough ahead, I'll pop it up into lean mix and save a little bit more fuel. We have enough saved up already, but we're going to save up some more. And we went 11 laps on these softs, so we should have no problem going the rest of the way on mediums. Does anyone else follow us in? No, Leclerc stays out, but Hamilton comes in. And several others behind Hamilton come in as well.
Exit now. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
We're coming out right behind Alexander Albon. And just go back and check through the rest of the hitters that time. I think everyone's pretty much going from softs to mediums, which is just a strategy, and it's the one that makes the most sense. E8. A lot of distance between ourselves and Hamilton. Hamilton actually came out behind some of the slower cars. Actually, maybe not really. He is behind some of the slower cars, but they're a little ways up the road compared to where he is. So, maybe not as bad for Hamilton as I thought at first, but we continue. They're right behind Alexander Albon. Just move real quick. He's going to hold us up a little bit through Ascari. Get the rich mix. Overtake low. We should be able to easily get by him. Outside. We get the shot done before the pair ball hits the corner. As everyone else in front of us dives into the pits. by the time it's all said and done, we are 11 seconds, over 11 seconds ahead of Charles Leclerc. So again, barring a late safety car, we are going to
for the mediums. Car behind on the medium tire.
Absolutely run away with this race.
Great work. That's a new fastest lap of the race.
Right there. Grosjean in the Alfa Romeo staying out a little bit longer than I would have expected.
18.1 seconds.
So I really don't know what the point of that was. There's really nothing gained in a race that's pretty much a one-stop for everyone. And that strategy is going to prove to be a bad one for Grosjean, as he is going to be the last car running in this race. Up to 211 down the straightaway with Rich Mix and DRS. Probably would be maybe a mile an hour or two faster if we had DRS. check out my teammate. Where is my teammate running? My teammate is running in P7 behind Sergio Perez. Let's see if we gain any more spots.
Use your overtake button more. It's time to utilize some of this energy.
Let's go do a quickie save. And just might have to take a quick trip to the bathroom, so be right back. Alright, I'm back. I guess I just had to take a quick trip to the bathroom. Now we're all set to continue. We're still just continuing to just gain time on Leclerc and Hamilton. We're now almost 17 seconds ahead of Leclerc. So this race thus far has been just an absolute rout. Notice that the two Renaults have started to swap positions. Ricardo caught Ocon and appears to have gotten by him for position. Yeah, so behind me is Leclerc, and he's at least a second or more ahead of Hamilton, and then he's several seconds, not several, 2 or 3, ahead of that first real pack of cars, which appears to be the Renaults, Sergio Perez, and then my teammate. Went to check my phone, or click the home button on my phone to see what time it was, and I bumped the steering. It's alright though, we did a rewind, we're all good. And if we're able to win this race, we are 7th victory of the season, and we'll be well beyond 2 race victories ahead of second place. And it's easy to sort of see it as that we're sort of running away with the championship, but at the same time, you know, and I'm not saying we wouldn't be in the lead, because we probably still would be, but I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that we were able to steal wins at Vietnam and Canada, mainly Vietnam. It was that safety car that pretty much helped us get the win. Then in Canada, I felt confident to get a podium in Canada. I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to pull off a win, but we managed to pull it off. It really all came down to the start of the race. But yeah, so I think those 2 victories in particular, because all the other victories were pretty...
Fuel target is +1. Faster engine modes are available.
Are at tracks that I've usually, you know, that I've won at in career modes in the past on the F1 games. And Canada I've won at, but with Canada, I was just saying with more, you know, I expected to do well, I expected to get a podium, not necessarily race. Vietnam, you know, I had no right to win that race. I think Hamilton pretty much had it in the bag until I came along and after the safety car and got him for the win. But no, yeah, it was a combination of all the other wins I've had, and if I hold on to one here, this would be among them, of races where it's just, I'm at tracks that I just go really well at. As we're now essentially not quite a full pit stop ahead of Leclerc, but pretty close to it. It would be risky, but if we wanted to, we could come in and clip on or put on a set of softs to run to the end, but of course I wouldn't do that if we didn't already have the fastest lap of the race. And we have that locked in and secure, so no real need to do that. If there was a safety car that came out in the next 2 or 3 laps, I would strongly consider coming into the pits and putting on a set of soft tires. But it's not really necessary right now. We're in a good spot. Yeah, it's just crazy to see how far we're ahead of Leclerc and Hamilton we really are. And I have to say, I'm a little surprised that my teammate seems to be just stuck in P7. Hasn't really been able to make any progress on Perez or the two Renaults. Which, I mean, he's in the points, and that's all that really matters to me. But still. Not to tell you, this Constructors' Championship is getting, between us and Mercedes, is getting pretty tight. Of course, in Spa, both of the Mercedes cars finished outside of the points while I won the race. And now one of them is DNF'd again.
Let's use overtake and burn some of this energy.
And I'm on the route for another win. En route to another win, I should say. So the constructors is going to be another good points haul, I would say. Now, to be fair, I think as long as Mercedes is finishing races both in the points, I think they have a pretty strong chance to beat us. But then you keep having races like this where one of them's out of the points, or one of them just DNFs, and I'm doing really well, then you're going to catch up to them pretty quick.
Be careful, we think you're going to start losing some tyre grip around now.
5 laps to go. And look how far ahead we are. We are literally the whole length, even a little more so. Whole length of the front straightaway ahead of second place Charles Leclerc. Now closing in on 21 seconds. Touched the grass a little bit there, but we're okay.
We have 5 laps of fuel remaining. Out of 4 laps to go. There's 3 laps of fuel remaining.
Honestly, not doing a ton of talking right now. Just getting in the zone for these last couple laps. Just focusing on just getting clean laps. Coming to the last lap of the race, we'll throw in a rich mix. Just for fun, we have a lot of fuel to burn, so why not? Here we go, last lap of the Grand Prix. We are well ahead of Leclerc by just about 21 seconds. Here we go, probably one of our most dominant performances in F1 2020 MyTeam career mode to date. By over 21 seconds, we're going to come off of the parabolic corner to take our second consecutive Italian Grand Prix victory.
Fantastic. You've won the Grand Prix.
And we got the triple pole, fastest lap, and the win. 7th of the season. Myself and for Jaguar.
We can't fault the performance on the track today. A well-deserved victory. Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today. What set them apart from the rest?
Well, they certainly stood out as a drive with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability
Posty will get at least one of their cars on the podium, so
parts of the race meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Ricardo continuing to really impress in that Renault.
Welcome then to the podium, our top 3 drivers. What a great effort from them today in a very difficult race.
Oh look, we're getting the podium celebration that actually includes all 3 drivers. It's nice to see for a change.
So, let's review the driver's standings. Our current championship leader dominated the track, securing a win and further increasing their advantage. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
Daniel Ricciardo certainly impressed me today. An incredible performance.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Our championship leaders retain their position, but their lead is shrinking. There was also a strong showing from the McLaren team today, as they make their way up the standings. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
So that was the Italian Grand Prix. A lot of disappointments on the outside of the points. Valtteri Bottas DNF'd while running third. AlphaTauri's slight disappointment considering it's their home Grand Prix and considering that they've generally been better than what they showed here today. What can you say about the Red Bulls? I mean, not only does Verstappen fall short to his teammate, Albon, who's clearly not been better than him, but they finished 14th and 15th. They couldn't go anywhere. I don't know if this was just not a car suited to their track, or a car suited to this track, or if they just don't have the raw speed, or what the problem is, but there have been more than one race. This is not the first time that this has happened where the Red Bulls have performed just poorly. And they're not even that far down in the performance chart. They're still in the top 4. So you think they'd be doing a lot better than they are. But, yeah, they're finishing just ahead of the Haas cars. I mean, 12 seconds ahead of Nick de Vries, but still, they're finishing in front of one of the slowest cars in the grid, just barely. It's not good. Vettel, I don't know what happened to him. He fell from 3rd to 11th. Out of the points. Much like, you know, more indicative of the current performance of Vettel in real life. And then just generally, McLaren got points, Renault got points, Racing Point got points. Are a little disappointed that our teammate wasn't able to gain more spots. I think they could have gotten up to P4, but it's what it is, I guess. Chef standings, there you go. Only 17 points out of first place in the constructors, right behind Mercedes, who are right on their tail. While it's actually got pretty close between Red Bull and Ferrari. Ferrari only 3 points, or 5 points behind Red Bull. While McLaren jumps AlphaTauri, and then in the Drivers' Championship, we got a ton of movement. Hamilton jumps to 2nd. He is now almost 3 races out of first place, or 3 race victories, which is going to be a lot for him to overcome if he wants to win this championship. It seems like that spot keeps switching. It seems like one week Bottas looks great and then Hamilton doesn't look good, and the next week Hamilton looks great and Bottas doesn't look good. I don't know. But Leclerc jumps Verstappen. Pretty crazy to think that at one point Leclerc was like 7th or 8th behind Lance Stroll in the championship. Now Ferrari's they've really got some upgrades in, and now they're finally sort of getting somewhat on the groove a little bit, and Leclerc has jumped to 4th. Whereas the Red Bulls, I mean, what can you say? They've really fallen off. Ricciardo has gotten himself up to P6. And again, he's showing really outperforming in that Renault, or overperforming in that Renault. And as we say, we're looking for him for Season 3, so if we could get him, I think our chances of winning the Constructors are very, very strong. Albon drops a little bit. Perez and Stroll swap spots. Esteban Ocon gains a couple spots. There you go. That was the Italian Grand Prix. Of course, Bottas DNFing out of the race, we easily school him in the rivalry this time around. Getting ever so closer to getting that 4th sponsor. I'm curious to see if we can get it before the end of this season. How did we not get that? I thought we answered 2 interview questions. Apparently not. I could have swore that we answered 2 interview questions, but maybe I accidentally pressed a skip on one of the questions. I don't know. But again, it's not the end of the world if we fail one of the sponsor goals once. I think it was in Hungary, we failed the one where it's 75 laps. And this one was the first time that was the first time we failed that one. And this time was the first time we failed the interview question one. So in like 2 seasons, the first failures for both of those, I think that's fine. I think it's something we can be okay with. And we have the chance to renew our sponsors again. I could go for new ones, but I like what we got with these sponsors. Pretty solid goals for us to obtain during the race weekends. So personally, I don't see reason to really change them. Plus, I like their logos. That's part of it too. They're cool sponsors. I like their logos. And all their goals. I mean, I could be getting a little more money doing something else, but I mean, on weekends we meet them. We're getting close to $1 million each time, so I can't really complain about that. So there you go. Everything on the car looks good. We are all right to continue. Just want to check the driver market. Again, we're keeping an eye on Daniel Ricciardo, and he is at $15.1 million, so we still have a lot of money to save. If we wanted to pick him up. And it looks like we got another power unit upgrade coming from Renault. That might have been this one. Or it could be this one, I'm not really sure. This one's coming October 4th. And the date we are in is September, so I don't know. Okay. Messages, it's power unit. Activities. Which department is in the most need? I guess aerodynamics and chassis. Podium, celebration, ceremony, or party. That's a good one for this. Get the morale boosted for all departments. Do a little bit of weight training to get Magnussen back up there. Sponsor advertisement to get some cash and some team acclaim. Driver promotion filming. And then aero team building. So we've really filled this one out, actually. So, but that's good. A lot of stuff going on. No R&D points to spend on anything. And I believe we're going to be having the major chassis upgrade coming in for Singapore. If it goes well, that is. But we'll see as we advance time. And the upgrade comes in. Which will be good for Singapore, because that could enable us to try that one stop again. Or essentially go from softs to hards. So we'll see if that strategy can play out for us once again. We'll see how Singapore goes next time. So, that's it for this race weekend.